Let me give you 10 reasons to buy the Mavic 2 Pro and 5 reasons not to. With the Mavic 2 Pro out since August 2018, this is probably the most criticized drone released by DJI yet. I think this was mostly fueled by the high expectations from the market that this would be a more portable version of the Phantom 4 Pro with the 1-inch Hasselblad camera at a lower price. So how does it look after 7 months of use? Let's roll that intro and find out. Shortly after I got the Mavic 2 Pro, I made a video where I talked about the drone from a more objective standpoint. It seemed DJI had released the product way too early to the market, and they have left out some of the features that they presented during the launch event. Luckily, the reality is different, and it seems DJI has caught up on most of the issues, and the Mavic 2 Pro is now a really solid and reliable drone that I really enjoy using. With that said, there are still some things that can't be fixed, and I will list those later in the video. So if this is important for you to know, then make sure to stick around to the end of the video so you have the full picture before you go out and spend your hard-earned money on this drone. Let's start by looking into 10 reasons why you should get the Mavic 2 Pro. Flight time. Flight time. I'm getting a solid 26 to 28 minutes of flight time out of the battery of the Mavic 2 Pro. This is only a few minutes more than the original Mavic Pro, but quite a lot more than what you get from the Mavic Air, despite this is not exactly the same drone. But as you know, any minute extra in the air is highly appreciated chasing that money shot. On top of this, they lowered the temperature requirements, which means that you can now take off in minus 10 degrees Celsius compared to 0 degrees Celsius as with the original Mavic Pro. This equals 14 degrees Fahrenheit and will dramatically increase your opportunities when flying in cold weather. OCCUSYNC 2.0. OCCUSYNC 1.0 was good and really stable, but with OCCUSYNC 2.0 DJI has taken it a step further. OCCUSYNC 2.0 is a really stable connection. It's so stable that it will actually allow 1080p streaming directly to your phone. And this will open up for some pretty interesting possibilities to use the footage on your phone directly on social media. Battery time on the remote. Not only have they increased the flight time of the drone, they also increased the battery capacity of the remote. Now it will easily last 3 batteries. And you can also use the battery in the remote to charge your phone if that is low on power. Joysticks can now be removed equally as seen with the Mavic Air. This makes the remote very compact when it's folded together, making the whole solution occupy less space in your backpack. The remote automatically powers off after 5 minutes from being disconnected from the aircraft to save battery time. The camera. The 1-inch Hasselblad camera is one of the main selling features for this drone. Going from 12 megapixel to 20 megapixel and adding better low light performance, this is definitely one of the main reasons for upgrading. Furthermore, you get variable aperture that will help you stop down some of that light to lower the shutter speed so you get buttery smooth recordings. Just be aware that the aperture influences the sharpness. So you need to pay attention as you will not be able to get sharp and crisp images with every setting, especially when you're closing the aperture to limit the light. Where the camera really shines is when taking photos, and with the Mavic 2 Pro you will be able to capture some really amazing shots. And at 20 megapixel the resolution is definitely high enough for you to get some decent prints to put on your wall if you're into that. 360-degree obstacle avoidance system. A system like this shouldn't be necessary if you fly responsible, but I have to admit it has saved me more than once. It's a really nice upgrade, and in the end it will lead to less accidents with your expensive toy. Just be aware that this system is not 100% bulletproof, as it does not sense smaller obstacles like wires and leaves and such. I do have seen some issues flying nighttime where the sensors were fooled and I was not able to land the drone. I actually ended up hand catching it to get it down. But in general, I think they have done a pretty decent job with the sensing system. Low noise propellers. One of the big issues with the Mavic Air was the high pitch generated by the propellers. I had people come up to me saying that the Mavic Air sounded like a swarm of bees. But with the low noise propellers on the Mavic 2 Pro, the sound is not as intrusive. It should be on the same level as the Mavic Pro Platinum or slightly worse. but it's definitely clearly a lot better than the Mavic Air. It's pretty annoying when people step up to you during a flight complaining about the noise, so this is definitely appreciated. Form factor. The form factor and portability of the original Mavic Pro was amazing. DJI still managed to maintain that with the Mavic 2 Pro. It's not Mavic Air size, but it's still pretty compact and fits very nicely in your backpack. Seems DJI has gone through a lot of effort to optimize the design of the drone, as it feels super stable in high winds compared to the original Mavic Pro. Active Track 2.0 with APAS 2.0. Active Track 2.0 works really well. I demonstrated the power of this feature riding a trail on my electric unicycle dodging trees and branches. Active Track 2.0 takes advantage of the APAS 2.0 that, in conjunction with the 360 sensor system, makes the drone capable of avoiding obstacles by planning a real-time route around them, and not just stop when it sees an obstacle. It's a really powerful feature that I'm using every time I need to track an object. Extra improvements. A small improvement that I want to mention is that they have added the landing lights below the drone that automatically turns on during low light conditions. The lights are really bright LEDs and can be turned on and off in air if you wish. That could make it easier to spot the drone flying in low light conditions. DJI added 8GB of internal storage like we saw with the Mavic Air. This is pretty nice if you happen to forget your SD card at home. Just be aware it won't last long with 4K footage. Another minor thing is that now you can access the SD card without unfolding the legs of the drone. It seems like a minor thing, but in general it seems DJI has put a lot of effort to the minor details of the drone that makes the everyday life easier around the product. Flight mode improvements. The intelligent flight modes are being improved constantly with every firmware release. Latest we have seen the introduction of Waypoints 2.0 that will allow you to plan missions on a map and let your Mavic 2 Pro fly them automatically. This is a major improvement compared to the previous version, where you actually had to fly the mission first and store each waypoint before you could repeat the mission. With Waypoints 2.0 you can now set up a complete mission in the DJI Go 4 app before you go on site. With this tool you can plan missions where you start and stop video recording, automatically take pictures toward point of interest set up through the interface. This was something that was previously only possible with a third-party app called Litchi, and they might still have the upper hand at some of the features, but DJI definitely closed the gap with Waypoint 2.0. You can do a lot of exciting stuff with Waypoint 2.0, more than I would cover in this video, but I can make a separate one if you ask nicely. In general, I really like DJI products because it's not shop and forget. They keep releasing bug fixes all the time that will take care of some of the most known issues with the drone. But on top of that, they're also releasing new features that will add value to your drone after the purchase. As I said in the beginning of this video, there are things that can't be fixed with the Mavic 2 Pro. And this is either due to technology advancements, bad design decisions, or simply the physics of nature. Let's look into 5 reasons why you should not buy the Mavic 2 Pro. H.265 performance issues in post-production. The H.265 codec seems to be a real struggle for older computers, preventing smooth playback. Some would even argue that this would make the codec useless. But with 4K footage becoming mainstream, there was a need for better compression, and this is the main reason for using H.265. There's really no way around this if you want to take advantage of the more advanced color profiles that DJI offer, like the D-Log M or HLG, to maximize the dynamic range in your footage. So consider upgrading your older computer to take full advantage of what this codec is offering. Filter mounting system and lens cover. I'm not a big fan of the filter mounting system. It's a real pain in the butt to handle in the field, especially if you're freezing on your hands. Despite the variable aperture, this is far from enough to stop down the light. So there's really no way around using ND fillers if you want to record smooth video. So my struggle with the fillers are real. I seem to forget which way to turn them to take them on and off in the heat of the battle. I would clearly prefer a threaded solution like we saw with the Mavic Air or the Phantom 4 Pro. The lens cover is still not good. You can get better third-party options, or you could decide to just live with it. Video quality is not as great as expected. The video quality of the 1-inch sensor is not as impressive as you think. Especially if your baseline is the Phantom 4 Pro, as this does a better job and would be the one preferred for professional use. But the camera is not bad, not at all, and you will still be able to capture some pretty good footage. But you could argue comparing the video alone against the Mavic Air if this will justify the extra investment. It's a lot of extra money to upgrade from the Mavic Air to the Mavic 2 Pro. Lens distortion. Because of the wide angle lens, sensor size and the physical dimensions of the 1-inch Hasselblad camera, you will have footage that is distorted towards the corners and needs to be fixed in post-production. An example is if you're shooting photos in RAW, then they are RAW and the distortion is pretty obvious. This was pretty annoying in the beginning, but now it's just a part of my natural workflow. And you need to be aware this is not something that DJI can fix because this is caused by the physical limitations in the camera. Gimbal setting presets. With the Mavic Air, DJI introduced 3 gimbal presets. With the Mavic 2 Pro, you only get 1. And if you have dialed in your settings to generate cinematic footage with slow motions, this is likely too slow to be used under normal operation. This is where the presets come in handy that will allow you to easily switch back and forward between your settings. This is something that DJI could decide to fix, and it was definitely something that I really liked about the Mavic Air. This is my raw list of pros and cons for the Mavic 2 Pro. What do you think? Is the Mavic 2 Pro the best consumer drone released to the market yet? Let me know in the comment below. I personally think that DJI made a really nice consumer product, especially with the latest software updates. If you decide to get it, you would have a tool that will basically be able to handle everything that you throw at it, especially if you are passionate about taking pictures, because this is where the Mavic 2 Pro really shines. I hope you liked this video and found the review helpful. If this video gets more than 1,000 likes, I will make a new video with my secret settings to the Mavic 2 Pro and show you how you can make cinematic footage. For Mavic 2 Pro, I hope you found this video. I hope you like this. I hope you'll. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.